Aloha friends, this is Dr. Willow Brown coming at you with 3 secrets to hot spiritual sex. A very good thing to have in your life, and I'm going to give you a bonus at the end. So we've got 3 really important things that we're going to cover today, and then we're going to have 1 bonus, so be sure to stay with me till the end. So the first thing that I want to talk about when it comes to hot spiritual sex is that there has to be, absolutely, there needs to be a level of trust between the 2 parties involved in this hot spiritual sex, okay? So trust, the thing that I would like to say about it is it comes from inside of you. You have to be able to trust yourself so much so that you can then trust the other person. So it's not about trusting them so much as it is about trusting yourself and trusting yourself with them. And then from that place of building up that level of trust inside of yourself, which really comes from faith, having faith that whatever is happening in your life, whatever is going on for you, even if you've been through terrible sexual trauma or abuse or whatever you've been through, whatever you're going through right now, if you can build up this phenomenal sense of faith that it's all happening for you for some reason or another, so that you can become a stronger person, so that you can step more fully into helping other people who've been through that trauma or abuse, whatever it is, coming to this place in your life where you see everything that comes to you, especially the hard things, especially the challenges, the seemingly negative things, and start to see them as opportunities to get deeper inside of yourself, to grow stronger, to become more resourced, right? Then you're taking that sand and you're turning it into a pearl. That's what you want to be doing. And when you can do that, then it doesn't matter what happens in your life. It doesn't matter if your husband decides to cheat on you, or your boyfriend decides to leave you, or your wife decides that she's not going to be in a relationship with you anymore because she's going through menopause and she just needs a break from it all. Whatever happens, whatever circumstances come to you, you have this deep sense of faith, this beautiful level, high level of trust in yourself that you can turn anything, any grain of sand, into a pearl. And when you have that, you can really trust anyone, almost anyone. You can trust almost anyone. And really, you're going to draw to you, you're going to magnetize to you people that you really do trust, that are very, very trustworthy when you have that deep level of trust within yourself. So that's number 1, okay? First thing, comes from inside of you, but transmits to the other person. And I can't tell you how many couples I've worked with who they just don't trust each other. They've been together for 25 years and they just don't trust each other. I mean, hot spiritual sex isn't happening, okay? So we've got to get that level of trust in place before we can even create this amazing, mind-blowing level of intimacy and orgasmic stimulation. So number 2 is vulnerability. Now, definition of vulnerability is, opening yourself up to get hurt, either physically or emotionally. So why would anybody want to do that? It's a terrible idea, seemingly, right? But when you hold up these walls and these barricades around yourself and block yourself from being vulnerable, from really opening up your heart because you don't trust yourself, you don't trust the other person, right? Then it is, it's actually holding you back. It's actually creating these walls and these barriers from you getting the level of depth, the level of intimacy that you know you can have, and that somewhere inside of you, you believe you deserve. You wouldn't be watching this otherwise. So vulnerability, so important. And some of the things that can help you create and cultivate a stronger connection with vulnerability are boundaries, right? Having boundaries in place. So setting up, and boundaries can shift and change as you go, but having clear boundaries around what works for you and what doesn't, especially when it comes to sex and intimacy. And One of the ways that I like to kind of break down boundaries is a boundary is going to be either a request or a requirement. So if it's a request, then it's like, I have this like loose boundary. This is what I would like. I would like you to, never come at me with your fingertips. Like I want you to come at me with your palms, especially my nipples or something like that, and because there's a lot of penetrative fingers coming out of a lot of people and they don't appreciate that. I come across that all the time in my clients. So that's just an example. So a boundary would be like, hey, I'd really like you to come at me with a softer, more diffuse, gentle kind of touch with when you're, wanting some sexual stimulation and some action, and then that would be a request, and then a requirement would be if you come at me with your fingertips again and again and again, eventually it's going to be the undoing of this relationship. Eventually it's going to be the tipping point and I'm going to walk away. So that's a requirement. See the difference? So boundaries are really important to know for yourself. They create these fences, right? Good fences make good neighbors. That's a perfect adage for this. And so when you have strong fences and you have strong boundaries for yourself, then you get to be really free up in that place. And if your partner is respecting your boundaries, then you can let go so much more and surrender so much more to the moment that you're in. So really be on point with what's true for you around your boundaries. Then you can trust yourself, trust the other, and be more vulnerable. And when you're more vulnerable with the other person, they're going to be more vulnerable with you. And that's going to create such a deep level of intimacy and trust between the two of you, which is where that deep, amazing spiritual sex comes from. Now, the third piece is trust. We have trust, vulnerability, and the third one, presence. I almost forgot presence. So presence is something that has to come from both parties. It comes from you, but it also comes from the other. And both parties need to be tuning into one another. So not just tuning into self, but attuning to the other person, like a tuning fork, right? So coming into the same frequency, the same energetic field, the same vibration as the other person. That's what creates presence. Presence isn't something that comes from your mind. It can't really be thought through. It comes from your body and it comes from feeling. So you can use your senses, your 5 fabulous, delicious senses, to really drop into the present moment. So right now, just taking a moment to notice what you hear. Notice what you smell. Roll your tongue around your teeth. Notice any taste. Notice any sensation, the temperature of the air on your skin, or just brush your inner wrist with your fingertips. So these 5 fabulous senses, your sight is another one. A lot of times sight takes people out of the present moment because they see something and they start thinking, But so many people have to close their eyes. But there are a lot of men who are very visual, and that visual gives them that amazing sense of presence. There's some women too like that. So just really tuning in, like what are one or two of your primary senses that drop you into the present moment? For me, it's listening and sensation, feeling. So just different for everyone. So check that out for yourself. So trust, vulnerability, presence. When those 3 things are in place, you are going to have hot spiritual sex. Oh my God, it's amazing. You are definitely gonna have it, and it changes your entire life, because I tell you what, sexuality is the root of who you are. You would not be here without it. It is where you come from. So when you start to shift and change and evolve this place inside of yourself, this relationship with your sexuality, relationship with partner, intimacy, sexuality, it changes everything else in your life. It changes the way you move through the world, changes your other relationships at work, with your other family members, your other friends. It's huge, huge. It's the root. So the bonus. Are you ready for the bonus? Now I'm going to give you something that really doesn't have to do with your spiritual and emotional self, but with your physical body. You have to have a strong, healthy adrenal reserve to have hot spiritual sex. I love it when people come to me and they're like, I'm just so tired all the time, because I know exactly what to do for them. You know, I've got the answer. I know how to help them get their adrenals back on point so that they have the energy and the chi and the vitality to even want to have hot spiritual sex. Because that is definitely something that people come to me a lot with. It's just like, I don't even care, you know, I don't even have the desire. And so we got to build up that desire. We got to get that physical reserve of sexual chi involved. Your sexual energy is stored in your kidneys, according to Chinese medicine. And so we've got to build up that reserve. We've got to build up that storehouse so that you can trust yourself more, get vulnerable with the other person, be super present in your body, have plenty of energy to be present, and create hot spiritual sex. All right, so we're having lots of conversations about this over in the Alchemy of Sex Facebook group. If you're not over there yet, please join us and like this video if you like it. We'll see you soon.